You don't live there.
The scene tonight, storming out of the Metro Council chambers. Old Louisville residents angry tonight after the decision to revisit an ordinance meant to restrict those heavy semi-trucks that are passing through their area, rattling down those old historic streets. Trucks that rattle the foundations as well of their old homes and pose safety threats to walkers, bicyclists, and others. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us on the Night Team. I'm Doug Proffitt. That's what residents say has been happening as those big semis come right off I-65 down their narrow streets to other state routes. WHAS11 Night Team's Clarice Shaley and photojournalist Levi Hammer were there when people got hot after the council members chose not to act.
The ayes have it. It will be tabled.
Frustration at Louisville Metro government.
Wasting our tax money.
The Public Works Committee votes to revisit the ordinance that would restrict semi-trucks from passing through Old Louisville off I-65. Residents say the big trucks not only rattle the foundations of their historic homes, but pose a safety threat.
We've got damage on the side of our house where trucks have actually hit our house.
The proposed ordinance would have added restrictions on Oak and St. Catherine Streets, Ormsby Avenue, among others.
Since the second one that I've been in council, heavy trucks have been flowing through Old Louisville sector and harming infrastructure.
Residents collecting data showing about 150 trucks traveling St. Catherine Street a day. Some even capturing these trucks on camera.
Twice I have literally been almost hit.
As you see, the residents, thank you all for your continued support, have been fighting for this for long before that I have it.
Some people telling us they've been a part of the process since the late 70s. The proposal receiving pushback.
Has there been any consideration here about the restaurants, the grocery stores, and the other businesses that operate in these areas?
Why do we continue to do this for Old Louisville? Why aren't we doing this for literally every district?
Members of the groups enforcing it asking for more time.
Are there unintended consequences with this? You know, should we really be looking at what maybe a freight plan or things like that look like to tell trucks where they should be going?
A little more time would only be helpful for us to get a better handle on being able to deliver something to the community that we can stand behind.
Deputy Mayor Nicole George talking to infuriated residents in the hallway as well.
If you want to lock something and leave, you are welcome to do so.
As semis continue to rattle Old Louisville, residents are left wondering what else to do.
I'm at wit's end. You know, nobody's listening. Nobody cares.
Leaving a new council member and concerns from residents to drive the fight. In Louisville, Clarice Shaley, the WHAS 11 Night Team on your side.
You saw him on our story there tonight. Councilmember Philip Baker lost the election in November, and that means J.D. Leninger is taking over representation of the district that involves Old Louisville. Despite tabling the ordinance tonight, Philip Baker says he still believes the time is now to make this change. Well, talking about big trucks, they're also a big concern on the 2nd Street Bridge. We're talking about the Clark Memorial Bridge downtown. Heavier trucks will now have to find another route now that the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet today lowered weight limits and changed the signs on the bridge. They say a routine inspection just the other day revealed some structural concerns, while at the same time, inspectors said the bridge is still safe for you to drive over. The cabinet found, though, deteriorating steel beams on the 95-year-old bridge. The fixes needed are still in the planning phase. Until then, the northbound side remains closed.
This is a precautionary measure, and it is safe for all travelers. The timeline for the repairs is not yet available. We still need to develop repair plans. So as soon as we have more information regarding those plans, we will plan to share that with the public.
On average, all changes account for a 15% reduction in weight for the big trucks. However, the size of the trucks driving along the old bridge remains unchanged, which is, of course, part of the problem the focus team looked into after that frightening crash on the bridge that left a semi-truck from Cisco Foods dangling over the river for about 45 minutes in March. The bridge's lanes are 10.5 feet wide. According to our research, the average semi-truck is 8.5 feet wide, leaving just 1 foot on each side to maneuver. Engineers with telling the focus team they talked to said that this was the minimum requirement to be state legal. According to state law, main roads may be 10 feet wide when speeds are at or below 35 miles per hour. 35 miles per hour is the bridge's speed limit. New right now on the night team, the Kentucky task force that was created to evaluate the Jefferson County School District with the possibility of breaking it up into smaller pieces is now asking for more time for their research. They are requesting that this bipartisan task force be extended into the new year. The group was formed to study the district and is made up of lawmakers, Louisville leaders, and parents. They met a total of 10 times and talked about transportation, the district's size, and curriculum. Today, the task force sent a letter to Senate leaders saying they need more detailed information to make any recommendations. After meeting and hearing from the public, they found testimony was often calling for more funding, specifically to improve transportation and to reduce class sizes. Because JCPS is searching for a new superintendent and changes at the federal level, they concluded that they need more time for their study. So tonight at the JCPS school board meeting, retiring Superintendent Marty Polio told WHAS 11 News what he hopes the task force will recommend in the end.
For me, I continue to say the greatest needs in public education right now are staffing, especially when it comes to teachers, bus drivers, and student attendance. So any assistance that we get from the task force around that would be greatly appreciated.
Polio said he's happy with where the task force landed, and he believes many of the presentations that they've seen so far have been positive. Polio, by the way, is against breaking up the school district into smaller pieces. Right now, the Jackson County Sheriff's Department in southern Indiana is investigating a deadly crash that happened from last week involving 3 teenagers. It happened just before 6 p.m. on Friday night on East State Road 258 outside Seymour, Indiana. Authorities say a 19-year-old woman driving eastbound with an 18-year-old passenger lost control before crossing the center lane and hitting 18-year-old Michael Carpenter. Carpenter was killed in the crash. The 2 teenagers in the other car were taken to the hospital but have since been released. They survived. The Sheriff's Department says its investigation is still ongoing. And right now, Tennessee law enforcement is asking if you recognize these people with Louisville connections. Police in Franklin, Tennessee, just south of Nashville, say these 2 women allegedly stole 12 designer handbags on Black Friday. And they have reason to believe the women live in Louisville. Franklin police said they drove away in a black SUV. If you have any information that can help detectives there, you can call the police department in Tennessee at 615-794-2513. We also have the numbers right here on this in our story, which is posted on WHAS11.com. And right now, we've got a lot to tell you about for Kentuckiana's winter weather blast over the next few days. We're talking gusty winds, warmer temperatures, and then crashing temperatures. Who better to track it than meteorologist, Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine. And Ben, what a start we have to December, just a few days in.
You got it, Doug. Yeah, hold on tight because we've got a bumpy ride ahead. It is rather cold out there right now. We have upper 20s in the city. You get outside into the suburbs and some of the towns outside of Louisville, we're talking lower 20s out there. Tomorrow, yeah, a little bit warmer, but gusty. Some of the wind gusts around 30 to 40 miles per hour, and it will stay dry. And then we have a strong cold front that'll move through tomorrow night. And then we're talking really, really cold air on the way coming up in our complete weather impact team forecast.
Ben, thank you. All new right now on the WHAS 11 night team. A Louisville hotel not far from the U of L campus has made it its mission to find permanent housing for our city's homeless population, and they're having success. Getting it done for over 200 people in 2 years, we've now learned. As WHAS 11 night team's Alex Dederer found out tonight, that need is even greater as the temperatures are going to continue to drop.
This is deadly weather. People die in this weather all the time.
Snow has fallen and temperatures are dropping.
Once you're on the streets, it's almost impossible to get off.
And for Louisville's houseless community, the city streets provide little to no warmth.
A couple decades ago, I was unhoused.
Donnie Green is the Associate Executive Director of the Arthur Street Hotel.
We take people into the hotel and we figure out not how to kick them out, we figure out how to get them housed permanently. That's what we do.
The hotel has helped place 250 people into permanent housing in the 2 years it's been open.
Located off of Gulbert Avenue and Arthur Street, the Arthur Street Hotel is almost always at capacity.
At any given time, we probably got 80 folks on property.
A small fraction of the nearly 600 people reported living without a home in the metro, focused on survival. And when the temperatures drop below freezing,
we know people are going to do what they have to do to stay warm.
That being said, Louisville firefighter Captain Donovan Sims is warning against winter fire hazards.
We're giving them things like blankets and jackets and to stay warm, we want to avoid the sterno candles. We don't want to give them things that are flammable or going to catch tents on fire and cause that spread of fires.
Sternos are used by people sleeping outside to stay warm. Last winter, the Louisville Fire Department said these sternos led to fires at encampments. You can see here a homeless encampment that caught fire last year, killing one person.
There's mixed opinions about sterno, but in this kind of weather, it's needed. There's no other way to put it. So it's not the safest thing out there, but we can't afford to say no one can afford the safest thing out there.
Blankets, tents, hats and gloves, hand warmers, all help keep this population warm.
We're all human, and I understand that no one saves us but us.
While the Arthur Street Hotel is at capacity, Green and other team members are out almost every night checking on people living on the streets and handing out meals, human to human. In Louisville, Alex Dieterer, the WHAS 1119 on your side.
The Arthur Street Hotel, by the way, also offers mental health services and has an in-house clinic. Well, thanks to an anonymous donor, new tonight, the Frazier Rehab Institute in Louisville can celebrate their 70th anniversary by looking to the future. With a bright future, the center began in the 1950s when Amelia Brown Frazier couldn't find the care she needed living right here in Louisville and Kentucky. Thanks to her, thousands of people never have to leave our state now to get top-class care for rehabilitation. As they celebrate the anniversary, an anonymous donor is now jump-starting investment in the spinal cord unit.
We have not only the clinical skills of our staff, but also the technology to get really the best outcomes you can get from a rehab standpoint. And when you look at the patients we serve, pediatric to geriatric, we serve patients at all socioeconomic levels. We want to make sure, our mission is to make sure the community gets the rehab it needs at the right time.
And as we've shown you over the decades on our newscast, they certainly pull off miracles. Louisville born and raised, unlike many rehab centers, Frazier remains a nonprofit organization.